Hello and Happy New Year from the Higgins Hotel Group. I'd like to welcome everybody to my short little introductory broadcast for the year. I'm doing this to better serve the customers of the group. I want to make sure that everyone in the group, whether you've been with the group for the 20 years now that we've been doing it, or you just were able to join the group recently, to get everybody on the proverbial same page to make sure that we all are doing and knowing what's going on with the group from week to week, month to month, year to year. First of all, we have a couple of things that I want to talk about, and I may pause the broadcast periodically to, go to something on my phone to make sure I have it to be able to disseminate the information, because I'm actually on the road and I don't have the luxury of having a printer and things like this. And I just decided to do this now and not wait till I got back home. So, but I want to thank you for being able to be a part of the group for all these years. Those of you who've been with me for, since the beginning. My family and everybody associated with the Higgins Hotel Group and Higgins Consulting LLC, thank you for all of your years of allowing us to help you find accommodations for gambling and in cases other events that go on. So thank you so much. Thank you from my family and from me personally for allowing us to help you secure accommodations when you travel. Also, the 2023 football schedule is not out officially, but we do have access to information about the games based on when the other schools post the information. We just combine it, and so we can come up with a tentative schedule as of what we know the schedule is going to look like. As always, and I want to say this at the top of the broadcast, always refer to the university for official things. We know what the street committees can come up with, and not saying that the street committees don't have their place, but from an official standpoint, you want to make sure that it's coming from them. That way, there's no speculation, false information gets out, wrong information, times, different, all the things that go along with it, the misinformation. And we just need everybody on the same page with that. But that being said, there are other ways to get information. And the way that I've been doing it is I go to the other school's website, and most of the times they have their schedules out already. And I just gather the information, compile it, and do it that way. We're playing 11-game schedule this year, as far as I know. And we only, from the information that I've gathered, only need one more game to complete the schedule. So that's what we're looking for. There's really no surprises on the schedule. Some schools have rolled off the schedule, some have rolled on. One of note that I know that have rolled on is Alabama State. Alabama State has rolled on to the schedule. And those of you who are in my group, I've posted that information. All you have to do is go to it and just go down the schedule where the schedule is, and just go to that information. But we've posted it in the group, so we can, and I'll post it in the comments once I post this video to the group, and everything else that I talk about as well. Another one that I believe that has rolled off of our schedule is FAMU. So we will not be going to Tallahassee this year because they came to us last year. So they have rolled off. I don't know officially how many years teams roll on and teams roll off of our schedule. I'll try to find that information out. But right now, I don't know that specific information enough to give it to you with certainty. So that's Alabama State rolling on, FAMU rolling off. I don't know at this time if the game that we have left to be scheduled is going to be a conference game or a game that we can, play with to have an additional home game or a money game or whatever you want to call those types of games. There's one hanging out there. There have been internet statements about the game against Hampton in New York/New Jersey. Don't know the specifics on it. Don't know where it's going to be played specifically as far as in New York or in New Jersey and what the venue will be yet. But we're waiting to hear about that. But from what we know, that there's a game, and that's going to be the first weekend in the year. I mean, in the football season, September, usually around Labor Day. Then we have the LSU game that's going to be played in Baton Rouge. This game has been scheduled about 2 or 3 years now. And so we're going to be the team is going to be going to Baton Rouge and playing LSU. One thing that I noticed that according to the tentative schedule, we're playing Texas Southern early. We usually play them late in the season, like November. But from the schedule that I have compiled, we are playing them like in September, which is really odd because we usually don't play Texas Southern that early. So that's that. And I don't, all the other teams, the A&Ms, the Valley, not Valley, the Alcorns, those teams we're playing. We're playing Bethune again. We're playing, Pine Bluff, because those guys are on our side. Alcorn, those guys are in the West Division. So we're going to be playing those guys every year. It's the teams that we play that rotate on the east side are the ones that that alternate off and on periodically from year to year. I don't know anything about Jackson, if we're playing Jackson this year or not. Not sure why we even played them last year, but that's another story for another day. So that's the brief run over about the 2023 football schedule. Again, I'll be posting that information, the links, the event pages that I have for those games will be posted in the comments of this video once it's complete. 2023 marks the 20th year of the Higgins Hotel Travel Group. We've had a couple of different name changes. So, but what it stands now is the Higgins Hotel Travel Group. And we started back in 2004. And, it's been a long, long time. 20 years is a lot of time to be doing this, but I enjoy it. The people that I work with, we enjoy it, and we enjoy providing the service for it. This was initially spawned from a need. How it started, I'll give you a brief history of how the Higgins Travel Group started. I have a fan website, Go Grambling, and you can Google it or whatever your search engine is, Go Grambling fan page, and it'll bring up, it's on Pro Boards, it'll bring it up, and you can join the group. And we want you really to do that as well. But we talk football, we talk all things Grambling on the site, and we still do. And we talk about the trips that we would take and going to support the Tigers and things like that. And the late great Greg Bridges, who's a long member of the group, said, "Man, I mean, it'd be great if we could all stay together in the hotel. Book a hotel and we'll all stay in the same hotel and get a chance to hang out before and after the game and things like that, because there's a lot of time that not really doing anything." So I asked my mother about it, and she said, "Well, yeah, I mean, you can do a group block." At that time didn't really know anything about the process of a group block. So looked into it, started doing it, put it together, and we started it back in 2004. So fast forward to 2023, here we are in this particular time, and we're still going strong. We've added hotels throughout the year. We've gone to, certain places are just better than others when it comes to hotel blocks and things like that. So we've had the high, I think 1 year, maybe about 5 years ago in New Orleans, maybe 6, I think we had nine hotels in New Orleans because of the need. And this year we're starting off with 10 hotel rooms already. We already have 10 signed contracts with hotels in New Orleans. We plan on having more. We have a personal goal that we're trying to attain for New Orleans that meets our goals and expectations for this particular year. But we're going to have more than 10, guaranteed. We already have 10, we're going to have more than 10. So we look forward to that. And they are available, and they are on the in the Higgins Travel Group forum. And if you don't know, if I happen to place there's other places, they are the Hyatt Place, which is the host hotel for the Higgins Travel Group. That is our host hotel. We have the Holiday Inn Superdome, which we've had maybe about 6 years or so. We've got the Marriott Convention Center, which is right next door to the Hyatt Place. We've got the Hilton Garden Inn, which is a block behind us and a block over from the Hyatt Place. We've got the Cambria, which is a new property to the Choice brand that we have added this year for the first year. So this will be our first year with Cambria. Really nice hotel. It's got the eclectic feel of New Orleans with the voodoo dolls and the whole music scene and things like that. So it's a very nice hotel. I recommend it, as well as I do all the other ones that we have. Hotel Indigo, we've had Hotel Indigo for about 5 years now as well. The Doubletree, Hilton Doubletree in Kenner. The reason why I got that hotel is because I do recognize that there are people who want to come support the Bayou Classic and the ancillary events around it, but they do not want to stay in the heart of the downtown with the hustle and bustle and traffic and all that. So what we did was get a hotel that had a free shuttle, so when they came into town, they can get a free shuttle to the hotel, free shuttle from the hotel back to the airport when they get ready to leave. They can catch a cab or a friend or an Uber or something like that to the city, not have to worry about parking and things like that, and then do the same thing back. So it's for that fan that wants to get in and get out kind of thing. So that's why we have that. We haven't had them for a while. It's been about 5 or 6 years since we've had that hotel to the group. So we're glad to have them back. We have the Hilton New Orleans St. Charles. Gosh, this is probably our second year with them. They're a new property for our group. Also, the Hampton Inn is back. We've had the Hampton Inn. We used to have the Hampton Inn years ago when we started, and they had gone through some management changes and policy changes. So, we were without them for a while, but we're glad to have them back. And we're proud to welcome back the Astor Crown. We used to have them as well as part of our portfolio, and we have them back, and we're proud to have them back as well. So those are the 10 that we have so far. They'll be listed. The distance from the hotel to the Superdome will be listed, and all of that's going to be in the entire group and in this the bottom in the comments section below. Next up, we have the Higgins. I don't call it the Higgins necessarily, but it's the hotel down payment plan. We came up with this concept because over the 20 years that we've been doing this, we noticed that with the Bayou Classic and where it falls, it sometimes creates a financial strain on our guests. Black Friday, planning for Christmas, all of that happens around that time. So we wanted to create a situation that will help our customers be able to have a stress-free situation leading up to the Bayou Classic from a financial standpoint. And we came up with the hotel down payment plan. What the hotel down payment plan is, we break up the total amount of the room stay, just the room stay, tax included, not the parking, nor the incidental fee that goes along with it. And we broke it up into a 10-month period of time. And so our fans have the option to pay, the initial deposit, which is $50 for the room, if you're doing a 2-night stay. If you're doing a 3-night stay, obviously it will be different. If you're doing a suite, which we do have a few hotels that have the suite option, that number, that initial deposit will differ a little bit based on what you get. So we tried it before. We tried, I think, right around 2020, and that's when the COVID thing happened. So obviously we couldn't do anything during that time. So we shelved it, didn't do anything with it last year because it was just a coming back year. So we looked to do it in the 2023 year. So that's what we're doing. And we have about 28 people that have signed up already and have already done their deposits, and we appreciate that. We look for at least, we want to get that number to, as many people that want to do it. There's not a particular number that we are looking for. We're looking for whatever we need to help accommodate and help the fans create a situation where they can be at the game without creating well, I got to come up with $400 in November, which we know is hard. So I appreciate the people who've done it so far. I look forward to the people who are going to do it and the ones who are thinking about doing it. The second reason why we implemented the hotel down payment plan was because not doing it was putting our hotel block business in jeopardy. Let me explain. Hotel blocks are allotted by the hotels to people like myself. We're based on, it's based on performance. So if we do well, which is we book people, they pay all the way through, and everything works out, the stay is fine, we're based on our performance. So what hurts our performance is when people cancel. We understand that there are things that happen. So we're not saying that, well, you're expecting people not to cancel ever. No, we know it happens. I have had close family members who I call sisters that had, a significant person in their life pass away. But what happened was they had a room and they, according to my contract, they were responsible for the room. So I helped them, find somebody else to get that room so they would not bear the cost of that, plus the other not drama, but the other heartache that they were going through with the loss of their loved one. So in order for that to happen, there has to be a communication concept to it. I need to know in advance or as soon as I can prior to the cutoff date that, well, I'm not gonna be able to make it. It doesn't matter to me what the reason why you can't. I just need to know in advance so I can try to help you find somebody to take that room for you so you will not lose your deposit. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to help everybody. But the earlier I find out about it, the better chance I have to do it. What hurts us is when you don't let me know, the room is canceled, and then it goes back to the hotel turns around and sells that room, sometimes possibly to some of our people, at a very high rate. So, that doesn't help you and it doesn't help the group. So it hurts us because they say, well, we gave you, just say 100 rooms, but only 60 people booked. Well, that's a difference of 40. That's huge. That's a really big thing in this profession. So it hurts the group. So when I go back to negotiate the next year, they said, well, we can't give you that many rooms because look what happened last time. You had 100, you only got 60. So why would we turn around and give you 100 again and you're only going to get 60? Let's give you 60 and see what you do with that. And then it's like starting over again. So when I built up these relationships with these hotels and things like that, I hopefully look to expand. I was not looking to go down, which I did. And prime example, the Hilton, the Holiday Inn Superdome is the hotel that people like because it's closest to the, the closest one I have to the Superdome. So people love to get that hotel, but what they do is they get rooms that they don't know that they need, which is okay, but not okay, because I can understand you. I like people planning. You plan in here, okay, I got my cousin, they gonna want one, such and such is gonna want one, such and such is gonna want one. But when it comes down to when it's time to pay for that room, cousin and them can't be found. And then you let the room go, I don't know about it, and then I lose the room. And then that means another Gramblinite could have gotten that room and now can't use it. And then it hurts the block and the Higgins Travel Group because we lost a hotel room. We didn't book it. So that means you're not doing what you're doing. You're not as strong as you thought you were. So we need to take rooms from you. That is what's happening. And that is why the need for the hotel travel plan is implemented. It's not mandatory this year, but in 2024, for certain hotels, it will be mandatory because that is the way that we can pretty much ensure that you'll have the funds will be available for you to stay at that hotel without an issue of having to come up with 400 whatever dollars that it needs for the hotel. It's not, and I realize that we may lose a few people because of that. But from a business standpoint, that's a risk I'm willing to take because if we're not getting the rooms, then people are going to look other places. So if that's the case, then I certainly understand if that's something that you need to do, but from a business standpoint, it makes sense for the business and for the fans because if it gives us the opportunity to hotels like the Holiday Inn Superdome and other ones of that nature, the Hyatt Places and the Astor Crowns, those are prime locations and hotels that people like to stay in. So in order for us to keep those business relationships going, we have to do things in order to make it okay and make it better for people to stay. I did lose rooms at the Holiday Inn Superdome. I lost what I consider a significant amount of rooms. I was looking to go talking to them about getting more rooms, and they were like, no, we're gonna have to cut you. So that's where we are, and that is the reason. Those are the main two reasons, and the only really ones that are significant enough to mention as to why we are doing the hotel down payment plan. There are going to be some hotels that we don't require that for. And, but they're not going to be the Holiday Inn Superdomes and the ones that are highly, highly sought after because of proximity type of rooms. They're not going to be those types of hotels. I'm telling you now, the Holiday Inn Superdome, if we are able to get the block there in 2024, will be a mandatory hotel down payment plan hotel. It will be a mandatory hotel down payment plan. Because if we lose any more rooms there, it's going to be a bad situation. So just understand that's coming from me out of my mouth, that it's not coming from a bad place. It's just coming from a business perspective and also from a fan perspective, being able to allow our fans to enjoy being close to the dome. for those who want to stay there. So we're gonna, that's one of those situations. One of the other things that I want to mention in this, and I don't want to keep it too much longer, we have to do a better job of maintaining our bookings. My suggestion on when you do it, if you're not booking within the hotel down payment plan, is to, when you make a reservation, you're supposed to get a hotel confirmation email. If you don't receive one, you have not made a reservation. You have to have a hotel confirmation email. Every legitimate hotel will send you a confirmation email letting you know when you're staying, what hotel you're staying, when you can check in, when this, when that. That's what that's about. Now, you may have to search your junk mail file to find it, because sometimes it get caught up in there. But what I suggest you do once that's done is to take that information, make a screenshot of it, take your confirmation number, put it in your on your calendar for the Bayou Classics. Go to November, put in, hey, this is the confirmation number for this hotel. I'm staying at the Hyatt Place Hotel. This is the confirmation number for that hotel. When the cutoff dates are, put that information there, because people getting caught up in this confirmation, the confirmation email thing, and not being able to, the cutoff date, because you're not remembering when the cutoff date is, and then it passes, and then you get an email. You may get an email from me or the hotel saying the cutoff date is passed and your card was not valid. And I'll touch on that in a second. But you have to put that in one place so you'll know. Trust me, I told you, I'm going to have at least 10 hotels. Now, I'll probably have about 300 reservations. I'm not going to remember yours specifically. Trust me, if I had the mental capacity to remember all that, I wish I could, but I probably won't. So I'm just trying to help you help yourself by letting you know the things that I do when I travel is, as soon as I make a reservation, I take that confirmation number and put it on the date that I'm supposed to be traveling. So that way I know what my confirmation is in case I forget it, because I will. Now, so that's that part of it. The credit card thing. Let me expound on that for a second. When you pay for your room, you have to know, or you should know, when I make that reservation, that the card that I'm using is how long the expiration date is for that card. So the Bayou Classic is in November of 2023. So if your card says October of 2023, that means that credit card, debit card, whatever, is going to expire before your event for your hotel stay. So that means that as soon as your credit card company sends you another card, which they usually send you a month or two or so before it ends, you are responsible for contacting the hotel and saying, hey, my credit card information has changed. Here's the update. Because if you don't do it, they're going to cancel the room. There's nothing that I can do about it. They're going to cancel the room. Okay, so know that if you know that the card that you have on file is not good, for whatever reason that you did it for, don't act surprised when the cutoff date comes and your room is canceled and you don't have a room. Then you're like, well, what's going on? Well, you knew the card that you had wasn't valid, and I'm not judging that. I'm just saying you have to understand that you have to make that change when it's time. We all have things going on, and I get it, but those are things that I'm trying to help the situation so that you can have a better experience when you travel to these games. The whole point of what we're doing is trying to make it easy for you, where you don't have to really be concerned about that thing. The hotel is taken care of. Most of the hotels that I'm booking, I've stayed in and or have visited and or that I trust. Some hotels, especially if they're in areas other than in New Orleans or places like that, and I have not traveled to and won't have an opportunity to travel to, I trust the brand that they are. So with that being said, that's our experience, and what we're trying to do is make sure that the experience of going to a game is lessened by the hotel booking. We don't want you to worry about that. You have to worry about gas and, children if they're coming, and whoever's traveling with you, and all the other things, your car, all those things you have to worry about, but we don't want you to worry about your hotel and where you're staying. There are things that, and let me also say this because I think it needs to be said, and I may just bring it up in a later one as well. Hotels are not perfect. And so we need to not have perfect perceptions or ideals at hotels. They have, staffing problems and electrical issues, storms and, things like that happen. Elevators go down, issues that we have in our normal lives. So we want to hold them to a higher standard, but understand that they're a business like anything else, and they have their downs and pitfalls and ups and downs. But I also encourage you to answer those surveys that you get from the hotels. Let them know what's going on. If you have an issue with the hotel, and I always encourage people to, when they make a reservation, if there's a problem, write down the name of the person who you're talking to, write down the time, the number that you called, because what I'm going to do is, you pass that information on to me, I'm going to call the sales manager or the general manager and say, well, listen, one of my people was told this, was told that. And the other thing, I have a contract with the hotel. It's in writing, both parties have signed it. So that is my binding agreement. Please do not let somebody who you talk to, especially like maybe Central Reservations or somebody like that, tell you, and the main thing I hear is, well, you don't have to pay until you get here. That never happens in a situation in a special event. No hotel is going to be okay with you paying once you get there. It does not happen. It happens, but it doesn't happen at the Bayou Classic. And it is certainly not in my block. None of my hotels have that. I have that arrangement with none of my hotels. You may be able to pay for your remaining night, but that initial deposit is due sometimes 30, sometimes 40 days in advance of your stay at the hotel. So none of my hotels are allowing you to pay once you get there. It doesn't happen. None of my hotels are allowing you to cancel after the cutoff date without a penalty. You're going to have a penalty, which is a one-night deposit plus tax is the penalty for canceling your room after the cutoff date. It's on the information that I sent out. There's nothing that I can do about it as far as trying to get them to waive it. That's a policy. And it's not just for my group, it's for all groups. This is not just a Go Grambling, a Higgins Hotel thing. It's everybody's group basically operates like that for the hotel. So these are just a couple of things that I wanted to bring, and I'll probably say these things again in upcoming broadcasts. But I want you to feel free at any time to drop me a direct message, and if there's a question or concern. I especially want to know when there's issues. If there's something if something is confusing to you about something, let me know. I'll try to clear it up for you. I know we're getting a lot of new people on who've never stayed with us, so we're kind of having to reintroduce you to the way, or introduce you to the way that we do things at the Higgins Hotel Travel Group. That's fine. I'll take as much time as needed to do it, but I don't want people to try to game the system, get over, because I've been through a lot in 20 years. There's not much I haven't seen. So please, don't think that you can pull one over. Just, we're a good group. We've been doing it for a long time. We've had lots and lots of people stay with us, and we want you to invite your friends to stay with us, and feel comfortable that once you hear, okay, Ray Higgins or the Higgins Travel Group or Dr. Higgins, they have a hotel room, such and such, or check with them, they may have it. we appreciate all the referrals that we get from our hundreds and thousands of people that are in our groups and know of us. So we appreciate that, and we want you to continue to book with us and trust us as a source for you when it comes to when we stay there. It's going to be a nice place to stay. It's trustworthy. You know, Ray knows about it. And if I haven't stayed there, I'll tell you, listen, I wasn't able to get to the hotel. I wasn't able to have somebody go by there and look at it, because I don't just look at the pictures on the site, because those are photoshopped or you know, pictures from the newness. I'm talking about actually walk the halls and you know, stayed in the thing. I like to do that. That's part of what I try to do with the blogs. So I cannot do that for all hotels. So some of them I'm just going to have to go with the trustworthiness of the brand that I'm booking, and hope that if there's not a person who I can get to go by there and do a site tour, then we're just going to have to do it that way. So thank you so much. Happy New Year. Keep listening out for latest developments on certain things within the group. Please encourage your people to join the Higgins Travel Group, because that way I can disseminate that information out to a bunch of people instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, or whatever. Thanks for everybody who helps with our ancillary events like the throws, the footballs, and the clear bags. You know, thank you for that. Those are licensed products. So I'm not manufacturing those items for those who may be thinking that. I don't manufacture those items, okay? Those are licensed items that have been cleared by the CLC and all that in the university to do that. So, you know, that's my disclaimer on that. Also, I do not work for Grambling State University. I never have worked for Grambling State University. I don't want you to feel that I'm representing Grambling State University, because I am not representing Grambling State University. Or the Alumni Association. I am not. In most cases, I want you to, the Alumni Association will be coming out with their hotel for the Bayou Classic at some point. Not sure when it's going to be. But in most cases, I'm the ones that push people to those, because I know that people contact me and want to stay there. And I certainly understand that. And so we're going to, I want that to happen, but I don't, sometimes they ask me for rooms. In the past, they've asked me, hey, do you have a block somewhere? Yeah, okay, well, here's a block. And so, you know, we've had that kind of relationship in the recent past. So I'm going to chat with the current administration there to see if that's something that they want to continue. But in most cases, even in Dallas, I let people know, hey, you know, this is if you want the alumni hotel, well, this is where they're staying in that situation. So, you know, I don't feel that I'm in any competition with them, and hopefully vice versa when it comes to that, because I've been doing this for a long time. So I kind of know a lot about contracts and, you know, hotels and brands and things like that, because it's something I really like doing. So appreciate all the well wishes, all the DMs, all the thank yous. You're greatly appreciated, and we hopefully that we can do a better job than we did the last time. That's all we can hope to do. Good luck to everybody. Be sure and go out and support all of our athletic programs. Send somebody to Grambling and tell somebody about Grambling today. Encourage a neighbor or cousin or somebody to attend Grambling. Join the Alumni Association, all the chapters. If there's not one in your area, you know, contact me. I'll forward you to the information to find out if there's one in your area, you know, all of that great stuff. But gsutigers.com for Grambling Athletics, gram.edu for the alumni, for the university, guna.org or .net. I can't remember which one it is, for the Alumni Association. You know, that's how you contact them. We have a new administration in the city of Grambling. You know, hopefully everything can work well with them. And so I've said it for a long time, Grambling won't be Grambling until the university to the city and to the alumni are on the same page. Until that happens, we're just going to be out there floating and floundering. We have to get together, and we're not going to agree on everything, but we need to agree on the majority of the things that's in the best interest of the university. So have a great day, and I'll be talking to you soon. Go Grambling.